let's do a protocol. Actually, we kind of talked about this with Chris, and I think that I either put it in clinical corner or I'm about to or whatever, but let's have you pull out like helichrysum, poplar balsam, like uh Deborah had like King of Pain. King of Pain was really good for this, by the way. Um uh like terebinth if you don't have that, or even a pine. Um yeah, I think I said helichrysum, right?
I have helichrysum, poplar balsam, king of pain, terebinth, and pine.
Fascial release. Fascial release would be good. Wintergreen could be good. And then if you don't have that, any of the pain oils, including nerve help. Right? So I'll give you a moment to grab whatever oil you're going to use.
I'm not sure if pain, king of pain was in a class. Do you remember, Brian?
It was a couple of years ago in January. I can't remember what class I was, but
Okay, I'll look it up then for you.
yeah. Okay. So this is what I'd like you to do. First, let's assess what you're going to work on. So it could be a physical issue. It could be like here we were talking about with Chris, where she has a problem with a family member. So it could be a relationship. It could be some psychological thing maybe you're struggling with. It could be a goal, something at work, something that even bothers you in the news.
Yeah, streams of consciousness.
Streams of consciousness. There you go. Makes sense.
Also golden flame and the journey within. Somebody said, so cool. Thanks, guys.
Okay. So you're just observing it, you're assessing it. Like, how does it feel? Okay. Now continue to observe it and just breathe the oil in wherever it's at, your body, something external like a relationship or a situation. If it's a feeling or an emotion, tap into that. And then just be still. Just be still for a moment. Now, begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the bottom of the tailbone. Long, slow, deep breaths. Move your awareness to the front solar plexus. Take some nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then just be still for a second. Just be still. Back to the front solar plexus. You're still taking some nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then be still. Begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the back solar plexus, the mid back area. And then be still. And then begin inhaling. Your awareness is between the eyebrows. And then just pause and be still. You're just being still. Inhale again. This time your awareness is on the crown, the top of your head. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then pause and be still. Just be still. Again, reflect on the area of your body or the situation. And again, long, slow, deep breaths. And then pause and let go. Begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the bottom of the tailbone, the basic. And then just be still. You're going to still do your basic again. Long, slow, deep breaths. And then pause and be still. Again, begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the bottom of your tailbone. And pause. Feels good on the bicep, huh? Your awareness is on the front solar plexus. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then be still. Your awareness is on your back solar plexus, the mid back area. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Just be still. Your awareness is between your eyebrows. Nice, long, slow, deep breath. Still on the top of your head. Taking a long, slow, deep breath. Then pause and let go. Space still. Why did that treat you? So let's maybe unmute ourselves and share experiences or ask questions. We have a little bit before we have to jump over to the session for Astara. Tonight's the anniversary, 72nd anniversary. So we're doing a special thing tonight. So we have about 10 minutes. I'm gonna need to leave just a couple minutes earlier than normal.
Someone had a question, why is my back head activated and now my forehead when they were doing the process?
Backhand forehead, usually when you're doing this process, you're breaking down some thought forms, but what you're doing is you're calming down the agitation and the different aspects of the will. And even when you're not thinking about it, the will is engaged, because here we're using things that are good for pain. And pain is a big, let's say, motivating factor for the will. And so when you calm it down, it becomes easier to be aware. It becomes easier to be in that state of just being. And I would say that, you know, I think I mark this for the clinical corner as body tension, but it's a way to accelerate a lot of different kinds of healing that are not just pain oriented or body tension oriented. Sometimes the back head is processing information. Part of what happens with the back head too is part of how you process pain and start to have more intuitive qualities are the heart, the forehead, and the back head. Like if you look at it from an energetic point of view, you look at it from a physiological point of view, it is a combination of activity between the pituitary gland, the pineal gland, and the thalamus. The pituitary and the pineal, you know, they get activated through a bunch of different ways, right? Or at least a few different ways. The thalamus gets activated by the back head. You know, there's a point like here, but it's like deep in your head. It's hard to find without really having something tweak it energetically so that you can feel it. So the big entry point for that is the back head. And you're starting to go beyond rational thought, beyond the senses, and you're moving into more of a state of being where deeper healing can happen when you go through and you do that. So yeah, good for you.
And you can unmute yourself, you can type in. Yeah, go ahead, Barbara.
Hey, Miss Barbara.
Hey, thank you for that. That was lovely. Just so spacious and
Yeah,
it's like alert, but also incredibly calm. Just
right.
this
Yeah.
peaceful spaciousness.
I think there's actually some forms of anxiety that come from this mechanism. You know, I haven't used it enough to treat anxiety, but I suspect that this is a contributing factor to certain forms of anxiety. You know, because if you think about if it's pain that's agitating the will, you know, anytime you've had painful experiences or conditioning or there's even the anticipation of pain, part of what's happening here is the will's getting a little agitated. And yeah.
Seems a pretty good theory to me.
Yeah. So.
And go ahead, Chris.
Okay.
Hello again. Thank you so much. It was so helpful. Great.
Didn't that make you feel better? Like
Yeah.
that's the thing that I was like, yeah, you know, the thing with the brother, like even if you can't help him or get him to shift or change, finding it in yourself so that we're not the other side of the coin that's causing the ding. And the more that you just calm this down, it just makes it easier to deal with the person. And just, he said some really super derogatory things in that text that you showed me. And it's like the more you can just stay in a place like where you're at right now, the more you're just like, ugh. I mean, it sounded like you're already there a bit, but still it can be a handful to deal with. And any time that it starts to feel different, just tune this up, because it's not like we get there and they were like, I'm done. Stuff happens and you got to tune it up from time to time.
Yeah, and he continues to say things to my other brother, and my other brother relies on me to kind of be a sounding board. So he has to share. I told him I don't want to know. I really
Right.
don't care, but he needs my help, so he needs to share what the other one is saying. So this really helps.
Yeah.
Because it's like a dance, right? It's you go
Yeah.
forward,
Yeah.
one step forward, two steps back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like you can get to a place to where it's almost like this is my experience, and it's not every time, but like if this can stay calm, it allows me to see a bigger picture that I couldn't see otherwise. And sometimes you still get pulled into the melee or whatever, but when I'm able to do this, I just find that like it's almost like how like there's certain dances where you do like free form, and then there's certain dances like that it's like you do these steps and you repeat them over and over. And what are some of those kinds of dances, like the Macarena or whatever, like where you're doing these certain steps. And sometimes when people are acting like this, they're expecting you to do the dance like the Macarena, like you're doing these concerted like steps. It's like, no, I say this, then you say that. I get upset, you get upset. I say this, you get defensive. Like they're not thinking it out like logically, but that's what they're doing. And when you stop behaving like that, it's almost like a little bit of a shock to their system. And sometimes it's what bounces them out of it. Not always, but it can. I mean, so because it's like what I was talking about with like intuition. Like a low form of intuition is doing something without having like a logical or rational explanation. Like you're meditating, not going, oh, I'm going to meditate and then this is going to happen and that's going to happen. You're like, I think this is going to happen. I'm not sure. People say it's nice and blissful. And like, how do I do it? Where do I put my hands? Where do I put my feet? Like, what? Yeah. And then I do what? I activate my heart. You're kind of following along. It's not like you go, you do this, you do this, you do this. And even when you get the explanation, you go, I think this is what I'm doing. You're not really, you're more in that place of intuition where you're modeling a series of actions, or you're mimicking something that you don't quite understand. And we can, like, that turns into like a devotional practice. Like devotion to a teacher is that form of intuition. But people can do that also in a negative way. Like they can go, this is how we fight. Like this is how I blow up my life. This is how we've been doing this for generations. We've been doing this for years. And so you don't have to be a participant in that dance. You know what I mean? Like you can, no, I'm just not going to do it. But they're expecting it. And so the goal is just to like not do what is expected, especially when if I do this, this is going to be the outcome, then why do it? Like do
Right.
something different, even if it's just I step back and you're on your own. you know.
Mhm. Thank you so much.
You know, this is what, like, I've mentioned this before, but this is like in the corporate setting when I would say you gotta Bugs Bunny them. You know, this is what I meant by that.
Mm.
Like I kind of just would like use that as the term, but if you notice, like there's a lot of like going back and forth of like, you know, somebody's chasing him, then he starts chasing them back, and then all of a sudden he deviates out of that and does like some weird different behavior that's unexpected and is a little bit confusing to whoever it is. Like that's what happens. We start doing this dance back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then pretty soon you're like, I'm not doing this anymore, and you step out of it. Like
Mhm.
that's what that's about.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and if something's going on, you know, email me and just let me know, and we'll help.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Such a blessing. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet.
Mhm. So, Greg, you know the forehead, back head, back
Mhm.
heart, you know, that protocol
Mhm.
is, did I remember that correctly? That creates, you know, as you do that, that creates the sigil of Metatron or the symbol of Metatron. Were you the one who said that
Actually, I'll
time?
go back and I'll look that up, but there are several pieces to that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't imagine that though, right?
No, there
Okay.
was it's involved in it, but I'd have to go back and look it up.
Okay. No
Like I have
worries.
this book of like notes that whenever I do stuff, I even look it up and go, okay, this is the recipe.
Okay. Thank you so much.
So we need to jump over to the Astara link. So we'll place it there. You know, usually we do a little 15-minute thing, but tonight it's probably going to be more like 45 minutes. It's our 72nd anniversary. And so we're going to do a little meditation, blessing, healing thing. And it's also going to involve some free brain stuff. So if you want to join us, I would highly suggest it. And if not, hopefully we see you Wednesday night for the study group. So, or on the weekend actually. So, which is a free class.